to SveNFL.
What is up, y'all?
This is Jonathan Rollins.
Skip Misara.
Two Americans living in Sweden talking about football.
Yeah, let's go.
Man, we are at it again, man.
Indeed.
Ready to rock and roll.
How do you feel mentally after the fantasy football draft? Are you recovering still?
Man, I was, and we left it a mess in here.
We did.
We did it live. We did it live. I gotta hit that.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Fucking thing sucks.
No, but we did it live here. It's always fun. Had the chicken wings, had the fries and all that stuff. But then we left it a mess and got the fuck out of here because you just want to be out of here.
Right.
After 2 drafts.
Right. Yeah.
It was like 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Almost, right?
And we were here from, you got here around 4:30. I got here around 5.
You got here 5, yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I got home at like 9:30. Man, it was crazy. But it was fun, man. I'm not complaining at all.
It was fun. Great group.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody who participated. Those who participated, we're going to be keeping updates and stuff and even extra episodes and stuff on Patreon.
You can call me
And
Champ.
shout out to Champ who organized the whole thing as the commish.
Yeah, commish held it down.
Mad love for the commish.
Mad love for the commish, even though he was really mad at you.
He was really upset with me, and I felt a little bad on my way home because I didn't realize that making him upset would bring me so much joy. Like I hadn't really anticipated that, and it was very organic and in the moment. And essentially, what it was is that I think in both drafts, for some reason, I was picking right before him.
Yeah.
And I, at least twice, maybe 3 times,
stole him.
or 4. I took the player that he wanted.
Yeah, stole a guy.
To
stole
take.
his guy.
And
it is what it is.
I just felt joy
in
the moment.
As they say in the world, which I can't set up. Whatever, man. I'm done.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
We'll see. I mean, and then they got to play the games.
Exactly. We don't know anything. I mean, I wanted the player that I stole that he wanted was Anthony Richardson, and
who knows?
This guy
some,
might be terrible. In fact, chances are he is going to be. He might be a good fantasy quarterback. We'll see. I don't know.
Everybody's scrambling now because Travis Kelce.
I saw that. All those didn't Sean took Kelce first overall in the relegation draft, and he was like so proud of himself. I thought about that this morning.
Travis
He's probably
Kelce
like,
got
damn.
news of it. Yeah. I'm not happy about any injuries, but when I heard that it was gonna affect Sean like that, I had to. I can't find anything, man. I moved everything around on the thing. Whatever.
Did you also feel joy?
Not joy, but I was gonna do the Travis Kelce sound that I cannot find for some reason. It don't get no better than that, baby.
Yeah.
I'll find it one of these days. I got to relearn the soundboard. I moved it around and I can't find shit.
Exactly.
Matter.
So we did the fantasy thing. Also, I was thinking that maybe off the top we should. There it is.
It don't get no better than that, baby. All my sounds are gonna be like 30 seconds late. I was like,
super delayed.
We'll be done, and I'll be saying that I think the Dolphins are gonna win the Super Bowl.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
Way late.
Yeah. But I was thinking that off the top, we should probably remind people that we also have the Pigskin Pick'em.
Yes.
Which is on ESPN. I believe there's a link on the Facebook page. But we also created, what did they call it? The Survivor League, the Eliminator Challenge.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes. I need to...
I also threw that link up on the Facebook page.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know how the Eliminator Challenge or Survivor League functions, it works essentially like you pick only one team per week.
Yeah. And per season, right? Once you pick a team, you can't pick them again?
Right. You pick one team per week, and if that team wins...
That's going to win. You guarantee
to win. If that team wins, you're still in the game. If your team loses, you're out. But as you suggested, the trick is, for instance, I picked the Ravens to beat the Texans this week. That means that for the rest of the season, I cannot pick the Ravens.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Fun. I've never done this. It was your idea to throw that in there. I'd never heard of it. I love it. I'm all in. Let's do it. So join. The link is in the Facebook page, like I said.
Yeah, I got to find our group and get in there.
Right. Should we get started?
Yeah, let's get started, man.
Let's start with the news. We're going to start off by paying our respects to a legitimate NFL legend, a man by the name of Gil Brandt, the one of the original architects of the Dallas Cowboys as America's team, and the guy who is known as the godfather of modern scouting. This guy passed away last week, age
I've
of
heard
91.
the name before.
He not only helped to build this, like he joined the Cowboys like from the moment they were created.
Oh, wow.
And helped to sort of build this sort of dynasty, this 1970s era of the Dallas Cowboys, pre Jerry Jones, back during the
That's pre Debbie Does Dallas.
yeah, exactly. Back during the Tom Landry and the Roger Staubach and the Drew Pearson and the
America's
Tony
team.
Dorsett days and all that kind of stuff. Apparently, he was also a bit of a mad mathematician in the lab who was one of the first to develop his own technique, scouting process, using this weird kind of scouting process, and is now essentially what we're doing today. Like nobody understood it when he was doing it, but now everyone he's essentially was doing analytics before anybody knew what analytics were.
Oh, wow.
And much of the tactics that he used in order to create a scouting profile is now actually what we would consider the NFL Combine. Like he was doing all of that stuff, like not just physical stuff.
He was testing players?
He was testing players physically. He was testing them mentally. He was like he had this whole process that we now sort of like the Paul Brown of the scouting process. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pioneer.
Absolutely, the pioneer. Dude's obviously in the NFL Hall of Fame since 2019. Just a very interesting guy. If you're interested at all, you just Google the name Gil Brandt and you'll find all kinds of cool stuff out there. Very cool story.
Nice.
On to current living humans who are affecting the National Football League. Bucs star wideout Mike Evans is out here laying some ultimatums regarding his desire to acquire a new contract. My guy says that if the Buccaneers don't offer him a contract extension by September 9th, then this will probably be the last year he plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So he's saying he'll play?
So the way I understand it, to be clear, is that he's not threatening to hold out. Okay. He's just saying that if this deal doesn't get done before the start of the season, then it's probably his last year in Tampa Bay.
Writing's on the wall, man.
However, the Bucs could look at that and say, hey, maybe we should trade this dude right fucking now while he's still worth something. Bucs are clearly in a rebuild.
They're going to get rid of their coach.
Nothing gets you back into the category of relevant than premium draft picks, right? Damn. Mike Evans is 6'5", 231 pounds. He's made the Pro Bowl 4 times, surpassed 1,000 yards receiving in each of his 9 NFL seasons.
Wow.
Each. Okay. So, I would like to play a little game. I would like to play a game with Mr. GM Jonathan Rollins and ask a very simple question, Mr. GM Jonathan Rollins.
All right.
If you were the GM of all of the National Football League, which I realize is not a title, where would you place Mr. Mike Evans?
That's a good question there, Dick. You know what? I think I might put him in all the teams. I can't just I think it'd be fun him in Chicago. That could be fun with Claypool and him, and that could be fun. But you know what? Let's give Justin Herbert another one, huh? Let's put him in LA.
You are correct, sir. That would be very entertaining to see Mike Evans in Los Angeles playing for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, man.
Other answers that we would have accepted, for myself anyway, the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
Would be nice. Perhaps the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is a clear number one.
That's another one,
Who the
too.
fuck else are they throwing the football to?
Yeah, that's another
Khalif
good one.
Raymond? Come on, give me a break. Yeah.
Unfair if he goes to like Cincinnati or Miami.
Actually, it's Josh Reynolds and Marvin Jones Jr. are their next receivers for the Lions.
Chicago would be fun. The Giants would be fun.
Giants would be good. Giants could probably take a swing. Broncos maybe. Broncos
Yeah.
seem to be dropping receivers like flies over there.
Oh yeah.
Colts don't
Somebody
have
would-
it. Colts, they got Anthony Richardson.
Nah, that's not nice to Mike Evans.
True.
I'm thinking about something that benefits Evans, creates a good offense, fun for the fans. Somewhere we all win.
Yeah. I think, well, personally, I think
We don't send him to like Arizona.
the best thing about Anthony Richardson is that as such an inaccurate quarterback,
big catch
he
radius.
doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to anyway, so it's great. So it doesn't matter. Speaking of the Colts, actually, we're learning more about the Colts' effort to trade Jonathan Taylor. Reports suggest that a boatload of picks, including a first rounder, was apparently not enough. When they were dealing with the Dolphins, they also wanted Jalen Waddle as well.
So they didn't want to make the trade. It's like, are they just trying to make it hurt his ego? Like, what's the plan?
It's
here?
a fair it's a fair judgment that perhaps they didn't want the trade, because if you think about it, if you look at it clearly, all those picks, the first rounder, Jalen Waddle is a 2-year starting wide receiver, still on his rookie deal, put up back-to-back 1,000+ yard seasons. In exchange for a banged up running back that's apparently not even worth the $100 bills that Jim Irsay wipes his ass with. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, Chris Greer said, hell to the fucking no.
He said it's off the table. He said Waddle is off the table.
Right.
said,
He
and
literally
Christian
waddled
Wilkins.
off of the table.
He
Is that what
waddled
did?
out of the room for the conference call.
We also learned that the Packers attempted to trade for Jonathan Taylor.
Ooh.
In this case, reporters have uncovered that the Colts were looking for first-round picks,
Multiple.
the Packers' entire wide receiver core, the ownership deed to Lambeau Field, as well as Matt LaFleur's wife, his 2 young sons, plus any future children that Matt LaFleur and his wife may be planning to have.
Damn, they want the kids.
They wanted the kids too.
They tripping, man.
Yeah.
They want everything.
The Packers politely declined because that's how they roll in Green Bay. Politeness is
man.
next to godliness up there.
What did they say what they really wanted?
I actually just made all of that up, to be clear. The Packers part. The Waddle thing was true.
Okay.
And then it inspired what could they possibly have wanted from Green Bay? I don't know.
It's insane.
I don't know. It's strange. I don't know what they wanted. But
and
whatever.
He's not going to play
But
either.
I think that you're right. I think that they attempted in quotation marks to negotiate in bad faith. I don't think they had any intention. I think they went out there, they asked for something unreasonable, and they came back to Jonathan Taylor and said, "Well, see, we tried.
Nobody wants you.
Yeah, nobody wants you. You're not worth shit." I honestly think Jim Irsay is in over his skis.
All of these
on this
fucking
one.
scammers.
But they are who we thought they were.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Okay, interesting story to keep an eye on. Panthers star pass rusher Brian Burns was out of practice last Friday. And Coach Frank Reich wouldn't say if the absence is contract related. So naturally, people started to wonder. Then Monday rolled around, and by then it had been confirmed that Burns is definitely trying to use his leverage to force a better deal. Brian Burns is, by a country mile, their best defensive player. We don't know what he wants. I haven't heard anything about what he's looking for. But this team is already, they can't afford to lose anything, especially not him.
Well, they gave up the most precious asset when they let the coach go.
Oh, right.
So we'll see what happens with them, man. I'm not believing in Reich, man.
No, me neither. Or if I do, I think it's going to take time. It's just going to take time.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. More holdouts. Chris Jones saga continues in Kansas City. Only now they're starting to pop up these rumors that there's a chance that Kansas City could actually trade him.
Wow.
I personally do not think that will happen. But if they do, that would be huge who for anyone who could get their hands on him. word as of yesterday from Andy Reid is that there's been virtually no progress in the negotiations.
Damn, what does he want? He want the Aaron Donald money, right?
He wants something because so Aaron Donald is highest paid defensive lineman or tackle, as it were. And then I think it's Quentin Johnson for the Jets now, who's kind of come just under that. So I'm assuming Chris Jones wants something in between those two.
Okay.
I don't know. At the moment, all he's doing is posting images on Instagram of him smoking cigars in hot tubs.
Okay.
So
And Chiefs have the worst cap situation.
and saying that he's willing to hold out until week 8.
Damn.
So we'll see.
Chiefs
see.
have the worst cap situation in the NFL.
The other one is Nick Bosa. Now, his holdout has flown a little under the radar until now because we're days away from the start of the season. But this is turning into a real situation for the 49ers, who are kind of in a ransom type scenario where they need to pay this man what he wants because he's clearly worth it.
Right.
Or they have to find a new like a trade partner that can afford
Right.
because it's not just about trading him, it's trading him, getting value back, but it's also finding a team that has the cap space and the willingness to pay a player like Nick Bosa.
Yeah, because once the teams can afford them, they're going to be the teams that are like going to be tanking. They're like, no, we don't want that.
I mean, they clearly don't want to trade Nick Bosa, but for a team that has squandered away their first round picks, trying to hustle their way up in the past few NFL drafts and very little cap space to work with, the 49ers might have no choice if they can't afford to pay him.
What about the what if he went to, because I'm looking at the teams with the highest cap space.
Yep.
We got Bears, Raiders, Panthers, Bengals, Cardinals, Browns.
Bengals.
I was just thinking that, what if the Bengals got him?
Shit.
What if Anarumo gets Nick Bosa?
That's scary.
What do you have to give up to get him, though? The Lions, what if they get him?
That would be interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I like it, too.
Kirk Cousins wouldn't like
he
that.
would not like that at all. I was just going to say that. That's interesting, man. Cowboys are up there, too. They're a little bit, they're only 2 slots down. Jets have some money, too. Wow.
Yeah.
Jets with it, Bosa, and then you might as well just clock it, man. They win that division. That's sick.
Speaking of the Vikings gave tight end TJ Hawkinson a contract extension, which reportedly makes him the highest paid tight end in NFL history.
They're just getting ahead of the curve, huh?
Hawkinson's deal will reportedly be for 4 years, $68.5 million.
Damn.
With $42.5 million guaranteed. That's according to Adam Schefter.
God damn.
That's a little over 17 million average annual salary.
Why?
It's just a pinch over Darren Waller. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. They got big plans for him.
Holy crap.
Obviously, Travis Kelce is sitting home saying, "Bring me my money, bitches." Right?
Bring me my money. Wow.
Let's see. After missing out on the Dalvin Cook and Jonathan Taylor sweepstakes, Dolphins backfield got a little thinner.
Yeah.
As your boy Jeff Wilson Jr. was placed on injured reserve. Have they said what? It was very unclear what happened to him.
I haven't seen what happened to him. I just saw he was down.
McDaniel said it was basically multiple injuries. Something he said something to do with his midsection and something to do with a finger issue.
Damn.
Are you all at work? Are you worried as a Dolphins fan?
Nah.
No.
No, not worried. Mostert is the one who's going to get the bulk of the carries, and A-Chain looks good, but getting rid of Myles Gaskin looks like it might have been a bad idea. But they got this guy, I think it's Cook. What's his name? Crooks? Something like that. They have another big running back. That.
You know who else is a free agent and just fucking hanging out there?
Who's that?
Kareem Hunt.
Oh.
Remember him?
Yes.
He's just out there. I read a few articles about him, and he apparently is working out, and he claims that he's in absolutely no rush. He's like, I'm looking for the right spot.
Oh, wow.
He's out there like, okay, all right. Yeah, I'll go there. Who needs a running back?
Okay, that'd be nice. It'd be cool to see where he goes.
Yeah.
I like Kareem Hunt.
A little interesting. Another significant injury. Cooper Kupp, day to day after yet another hamstring injury. Apparently, Cooper Kupp was flown to Minnesota to see a hamstring specialist. That's never a good headline.
No, I saw that too.
Is this the beginning of the end of the Cooper Kupp era?
Yes.
I mean, this is usually how it starts.
Yeah.
This is how the Julio era ended.
Yep, just lingering.
Multiple hamstring injuries. Yeah.
Sorry, man.
So for all those people,
it's been real.
I don't want to talk about fantasy, but yeah, I thought Cooper Kupp being in the top 5 in fantasy was a little like,
It's ridiculous.
is this probably a bad idea?
It's ridiculous.
49ers, George Kittle sidelined with a lingering groin injury.
Uh-oh.
Not sure if he's going to be ready for week 1 either.
That ain't Purdy, is it?
No, it's not. And then finally, before we get into our division predictions, I wanted to highlight that we have a new rule this year in the NFL, the emergency third quarterback rule.
Okay.
Now, this rule was obviously inspired by what happened to the 49ers last year, right?
And the Broncos the year before, right?
Broncos the year before, you're right. That was that freaky
Saints.
COVID year where they had to have wide receiver actually had to play.
That was them, but the Saints was the other year when like Ian, whatever his name, had to play.
Oh, Ian Book?
Ian Book had to come in, and Dolphins just got an easy victory.
This was a little different. So in the 49ers game last year, who was it? It was Brock Purdy got hurt. And then who was the back?
McCaffrey ended up coming in.
And then somebody else got hurt, and you had Jimmy Garoppolo like in plain clothes on the sidelines. You know what I mean? But they couldn't play him because he wasn't on the 53-man roster technically. So they've created this new emergency third quarterback.
Oh, let me guess. One fan randomly from the audience gets to come out.
It's going to be a raffle. You have to buy a raffle ticket.
353C. Come on down.
You are the new quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. What?
A 12-year-old comes out there and gets lit up.
Yeah. It reminds me of the only time I ever won anything in a raffle when I was like 8 years old. I went to one of these like redneck picnic festival things, barbecue and shit. And they called my raffle number, and they're like, "Who's got number blah 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 blah?" I stand up, and I look up on stage, and the guy's literally holding a chainsaw, like a giant chainsaw. And as I stand up with the winning raffle ticket, he looks at me like, "Can I give a chainsaw to an 8-year-old?" You know what I mean? And then luckily my father was like, "Oh, I'll go with you," and so. I basically won my old man a chainsaw, but it was kind of a funny, awkward moment.
That is funny.
Okay, so the emergency third quarterback rule. This emergency third quarterback must be on the team's 53-player roster. The player cannot just be simply elevated from the practice squad.
Okay.
The team's starting quarterback and its backup quarterback must also be on the 53-man roster. Obviously, that sort of goes without saying. And the club must have 2 bona fide quarterbacks on its 47/48 player game day active list to have an emergency third quarterback. A club cannot designate an emergency third quarterback if it has 3 or more bona fide quarterbacks on its 47/48 player game day active list. And the emergency quarterback can only enter the game if the team's active first 2 quarterbacks are unable to play because of disqualification or injury.
So what was the case before?
So basically what they're saying is that like you can carry these 3 quarterbacks on your roster, but that emergency third quarterback, like you can't just bring that dude in for a gadget play.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. They have to be hurt for him.
It has to be because of a legitimate injury.
Okay.
And things like Lamar Jackson needs to take a poop does not qualify.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember that.
That's not a...
I'll never forget that shit.
Yeah.
Get it.
Now, that being said, if you wish, you could still throw Christian McCaffrey in as your court. Like you can, like a player who's playing another, you can still do that if you want.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's essentially how it'll work.
Okay, I like it. So you basically, but it said not from the practice squad.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, that person has to be on your active roster the day of the game. That third dude just.
So if you're like your quarterback saying, lingering injury. You know what? Let's activate such and such today, just in case.
And they've also, there's some wiggle room here, obviously. Like, so for instance, let's say the QB1 gets knocked out of the game, QB2 goes in and he gets injured. The emergency third quarterback can come in, but if it turns out that QB2, he's like, I'm okay now, you're allowed to put him back in.
Okay.
So it's not like what's this, soccer.
Yeah.
And once you come off, you're off.
You're
you
off,
can't go back on. Is that true in baseball?
I'm sorry, I'm done.
Yeah. That might be true in baseball too, but nobody cares about baseball.
Not a bit. I almost fell asleep when you mentioned it.
Not here. Nobody here cares about baseball.
Not at all, man.
So that is the news.
I'm excited to get this next part going.
Yeah. So again, we will continue on with our AFC breakdown. Right? We did the NFC last week. For those of you who didn't listen, go back and listen. What the fuck? Why are you so behind?
Yes.
We've already told you everything you should know about the NFC. And now we're moving on to the AFC. And then in the next episode, will be the last episode before games actually start. So traditionally for us, that's always our prediction episode.
Yes.
Where we are going to lay down our takes. We are going to fucking, write some shit in stone.
Yes.
We're going to lay some bets.
Yes.
We're going to say who's going to win MVP and all that shit.
We're doing it.
But for now, we're still pontificating.
Yes. But first, we're going to take a break and have a word from our sponsors.
Word.
That break was brought to you by Brisket and Friends.
Can I say that I really think that this is fun? That I feel like we're doing this all in reverse.
Oh, yeah.
In a way. Like, Brisket and Friends does not sponsor this show, but I feel like we're like wish casting.
Yes. It's the secret. I don't know if anybody's read it, but we're manifesting. We're manifesting a Brisket and Friends sponsorship. It's our favorite barbecue place.
So I feel like it would be weird if we reached out to them and said, "Hey, we're wish casting."
Very weird.
So that's why I sort of just spontaneously am thinking that if any of our listeners would like to contact Brisket and Friends and say, "Hey, you guys they're trying. You should sponsor them.
Yes.
Basically, you should sponsor.
If they
these
reach
guys.
out, we're open. We're open. We're holding out until week 8.
Right."
We're gonna be like Chris Jones. We're holding out till week 8.
I'm gonna walk around with have you seen this T-shirt that Deion Sanders has printed up for himself that says "I ain't hard to find"? I'm like, I want one of these shirts so bad.
Shout out to Deion.
I ain't hard to find.
Shout
Unbelievable.
out to Deion, man. They in college, shaking up the college world.
If you're not following the Deion Sanders saga in college football, you're missing out. If this is if you've never gotten into college football, this would be the year to do it because Deion is over there just causing all kinds of
ruckus,
all kinds of good trouble. He's all kinds of good trouble over there. I love it.
Yeah, man.
All right, AFC.
Yeah.
We begin with the AFC East.
Yeah, man. Oh, are we?
Who we got?
We got the Dolphins, the Bills, the Patriots, and the Jets. That's the teams. Is that your question?
Yeah, sounds like a really good division.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a really good division. Mm-hmm. That's my guess.
Okay, here's my first question.
Mm-hmm.
How
hard am I?
How his thing was hard. My thing was hard.
Exactly.
How much am I supposed to believe in the New York Jets?
Oh man, I'm not believing.
Really?
I think the recipe
has Hard Knocks worn off on you?
Hard Knocks wore off. Hard Knocks had me terrified. I was texting
Episode 1, you were like, "Shit, it's over," and now you're like,
"Nah." I was like, "Man, this year sucked, man."
It was already over.
This was shitty, man. I came in with high expectations. No, I think that if you can't block for Rodgers, then it's going to be a disaster. And that's their one problem is they can't block the offensive line. And the Dolphins and the Patriots, I think they're both going to have top 10 defenses. So that's 4 games that they're going to have some trouble. And they start. Have you seen the schedule?
I looked at it once, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. Please rattle it off because I remember thinking like, "Holy shit, that's a tough start to the year."
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find it here.
Well, game 1 is Sunday night versus the Bills.
Yeah.
Right?
that's the
That
first
one I
game.
remember. That's week 1.
Yeah, the first game of the schedule is the Bills game. I feel like that's going to be a loss. I don't know. Then they play the Dallas Cowboys.
Nice.
Who's
Okay.
got Super Bowl expectations. Then they got the Patriots, one of the top defenses
Always
in the
a
league.
tough.
Then they got the
out.
Chiefs.
Shit.
Then they get a little break with the Broncos. Then they play the Eagles.
Wow.
Then they got a bye week, and then they go to the Giants, who are probably par with them, and then the Chargers. So that's week 1 through 9. The only one you could say they'll probably win is the Broncos, that they're favorites,
That's a gauntlet.
and the Giants, that they might be favored.
That's a tough start.
So if they come out of that 2-4, or something like that, 2-5, now we're getting scary.
Right.
You got to dig out of the hole. So
Also, the other thing that I think is like kind of a bit of a canary in the coal mine situation is that, when you watch Hard Knocks at the moment, you can see that Aaron Rodgers is very much enjoying the fact that he's got a change of scenery and he seems to be enjoying himself and getting along with everyone. But if they start the season 2-5,
they had some adversity in camp when he was like, they're dropping the ball. He's got to start to get mad. He's motherfucking people.
exactly.
All right?
Yeah. And if they start the season 2-5 and that New York media starts to descend on him, I think we're going to see
Ain't going to be no relax.
we're going to see that other version of Aaron Rodgers that happened after all of the ayahuasca and darkness retreats and hey, leave me alone kind of business.
Yeah, so that's my argument. Of course, there's an argument for them having a great defense and then Rodgers just managing and keeping them afloat and winning games in that way.
One thing that I do think is going to be very real and very electric this year is this Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson hookup.
Yes,
That
I
shit
like
is
that
going to
guy
be
a lot,
dope.
man. Yeah.
I think that one's going to be really fun. I am a little worried about their running back situation. Breece Hall is coming off of a injury from last year. He's still kind of considered questionable.
Yeah.
But they also have Dalvin Cook in the building, who was also banged up last year. So it's like, if their running back room can stay healthy, then it's going to be great. And it'll take a lot of pressure off of the offensive line and off of Rodgers too. But if it's not, it could spiral.
Yeah.
Then
we got the Dolphins, who I feel like that's another team that can go surprise everybody or like pleasantly surprise everybody or disappoint heavily. And everybody's talking about the health of Tua Tagovailoa.
Right.
But me personally, as a Dolphins fan, I think it's not sexy and all, but Vic Fangio and that defense is going to be one of the top in the NFL.
Yeah.
Even without Jalen Ramsey, because Christian Wilkins is one of the best defensive tackles, if not the best. Well, no, it can't be the best.
No.
With Aaron Donald being the best defensive player in our generation. But Christian Wilkins is balling. And then they bring over Long from, was he a Colt or Texas? From the AFC South, who's, watch out for him, who's used to the Fangio system next to Baker. And then they still got X at cornerback. It's like all of these pieces with one of the best defensive minds the football scene. It's going to be tough out there for teams to score on the Dolphins.
Yeah, and then you still got to figure out how to manage Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle.
Yep, Mike McDaniel.
I think Mike McDaniel. I think given the fact that last year was effectively Mike McDaniel's first year as a play caller, I expect him to get even better.
Good point.
He, to me, feels like the kind of person who can look back at what he did and say, I think I know how to get better.
Yep.
He looks like a football nerd.
He is.
You know what I mean?
And it was a lot. I've noticed in the preseason, it seemed like a lot of perimeter focus. They're doing a lot of stuff on the outside because last year was a lot in the middle.
Right.
Everybody picked up on it. The Chargers showed how to stop it. And then now Miami's been playing against the same style of defense every day that the Chargers use. And it's been a back and forth, so I hear from camp. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about the Buffalo Bills other than the fact that they're clearly, just by nature of the way that they've played over the last 2 years, appear to be the presumptive favorite to win this division.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Josh Allen was not without his faults, but he always seemed to, he did manage to win a lot of football games last year.
Yeah, man.
And he does tend to put the team on his back, which I think sometimes backfires.
You know what I want to watch out for? Leslie Frazier taking the year off.
Okay.
People haven't talked about that.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator just decided not going to do it this year.
Right.
Why?
So who's doing it now?
I'm pretty sure they said Sean McDermott is calling plays on the defense.
And who's calling the offensive plays?
I don't know.
Because that used to be
It was Brian Daboll.
It was Brian
and now
Daboll.
it's I forget their coordinator. But I'm like, why did he quit? And then he got the little, a little bit of turmoil. Saying it might be just camp drama with Stephon Diggs. But I don't know,
also,
man.
they're going to be without Von Miller Von Miller got injured at the end of last year. They're going to be without him for the first couple weeks at least. So it'll be interesting to see how the defense
It was
showed
Ken
up.
Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey, right.
Remember, he's all mad in the booth and all that shit?
Yeah. Was he the one who smashed
Yeah.
Was that on Thanksgiving?
Believe so.
That was funny as hell. He absolutely destroyed that Microsoft Surface.
He was gonna make sure that shit broke. But yeah, that was another one. So it's like,
I'm also naturally very excited to see how the Bills are going to manage to use my man, former Bulldog James Cook, if they're going to use him the way they should have used him last year, which is not only as a running back but also as a short passing threat. Get him out in space, take some pressure. I really think, and my Bulldog homerism aside, I truly think that he will provide some relief for Josh Allen. Like, you do not have to take all those hits yourself, because he also did not finish the year healthy. Remember, he had a similar.
UCL,
He had that elbow.
Purdy,
He had the elbow thing, and it definitely made him look like a worse quarterback after he got hurt. So,
and then the surprise of the division, I think the Patriots are going to be really good. You're gonna come out of there knowing you've been in a fight every game.
really,
They're gonna have a top 3.
You think so?
I think they're gonna have a top 3 defense in the NFL. They're young. They've quietly been nailing the draft last couple years. They actually have an offensive coordinator.
yeah.
Instead of 2 guys that don't know what they're doing. I think I wouldn't be shocked if they had the second best record in the division.
Whoa, that's an interesting take.
Yeah, man. I'm call me old school, but I still think defense wins games, man.
Right.
And I think they're just gonna be like, hey, Mac, do what you do. Do your fucking small, short passes, 5 yards per attempt, and don't turn it over, and we'll win this game. And that's going to be them. And Bill Belichick don't give a fuck. He don't care if Mac Jones is a MVP candidate. He just wants to win games.
Right.
And they're going back to old school football.
They still have Ramondre running the rock.
They're going to do it. Yep.
They added Juju Smith-Schuster to their wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Who, say what you will, he's a big, strong target. You know
I
what I
just
mean?
saw something about him.
Um,
Didn't he have some issue?
oh, is he hurt?
I don't know, man. I'll look it up. There was something about him.
Yeah, it maybe I too have some
He's injured.
PTSD from playing the Patriots.
Yeah.
I just, which has left me with this assumption that Belichick will always figure out a way to remain relevant.
Yeah. They said his knee is a mess. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh shit!
Somebody
Okay.
went in and said that his knee is fucked up.
Okay, well then I misspoke. I do that sometimes.
What do you mean?
I said he was going to be
He still could.
awesome this year.
They're just saying that watch out for his knee. And they said it's a mess. But he fired back saying it's bullshit.
Okay.
There's reports out there that his knee is all a ticking time bomb is what they used.
Oh Lord, that's not good. Speaking of a ticking time bomb, let's move on to the AFC South. Am I right? This division's waiting to blow up.
Yeah, man.
Thought of as either the worst or second worst division in the NFL.
Yeah.
Take your pick. AFC South, NFC South. They're both trash. I feel like everyone has already crowned the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this division. Like, it's already over. They haven't even started playing, and it's over. It's done.
That's how it feels.
What do you think?
I think they should take a step forward, but don't forget that everybody's talking about Trevor Lawrence taking the next step, but they couldn't have come back if he didn't throw all them goddamn interceptions.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes he just makes head-scratching plays. He's still a young player. I don't know, man. I feel like I trust Doug Peterson. I always liked him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's a runaway like people are saying.
Right.
They're just booking him to win a division. I don't think it's that simple.
I think I started off assuming that they were going to win this by a country mile, but Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, you don't win anything a country mile over that guy.
Mike Vrabel, I guess maybe I started to come to my senses, and I think the Tennessee Titans will make it harder than I initially anticipated. The Jaguars did add Calvin Ridley, which I guess is what a lot of the hype is over. Now they have, because last year essentially they had 3 slot receivers, right? And now that they've added Calvin Ridley, who is kind of a legitimate deep threat, everybody else can kind of shift back into where they should have been.
Yeah.
Right. Christian Kirk can be that, midfield, intermediate range target in between the hash marks. Ridley's going deep. The other guys are doing slants across the middle or, back shoulder towards the sideline. Now their team offensively at least makes a lot more sense. The big question mark is still, how good is their defense going to be?
Yeah.
That remains to be seen.
And that's because what's his name is known as a offensive coach. So we'll see. But don't sleep on Evan Ingram, man. Might have a monster year. I really like him.
Yeah, sure.
Tight end. The Tennessee Titans. Just watch out for them motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
They got DeAndre Hopkins now.
And they still have Derrick Henry. I'm not ready to say that Derrick Henry is done.
I need to see it. Yeah.
I need a legitimate injury or 3 games in a row where he puts up 25 yards on 20 carries or something. It's I need to see it, because this man, I still have visions of this man stiff-arming people into the center of the universe.
And
you know what I mean?
You cannot stack the box this year. Because you got DeAndre Hopkins on the outside.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you do it at your own risk. Tannehill still got to get a good deep ball. So defenses are going to have to play them more honest than they did last year because they got rid of A.J. Brown.
And, I think it went slightly unnoticed, but receiver Treylon Burks got a lot better as the year went on last year. And I feel like he could be a real playmaker for this team this year from week 1. I think he showed improvement as the year progressed.
Yeah. What do you think about the Colts?
I don't usually think about them unless Jim Irsay is doing something stupid.
We talked about him earlier, and I think it's gonna be. Are they the new Commanders? Are they gonna be the next team that their owner is just in the way, and now?
Yeah. No, I think for sure, but I think. The answer is yes, but for very different reasons.
Right.
But yeah, the way you worded it, I think was perfect. The owner who's standing in the way of his team's success for whatever reason. It cannot be forgotten that this is Indianapolis's 7th quarterback in 6 years
since Luck. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it feels
because you've had Luck.
Yeah, Rivers.
Jacoby Brissett took over for Luck.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers.
Then we had Matt Ryan.
There was somebody before that. Wasn't there?
I don't remember, man. They suck.
Who came after Phillip Rivers? Carson Wentz. How can we forget?
Carson Wentz, yes.
Then Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Richardson.
Yes.
Okay, so 6. But that's bad. I mean, you literally had a brand new starting quarterback.
Who was the guy after Ryan? Or didn't they bench Ryan last year? We had somebody, the young dude.
Yeah, was it Easton Stick or
something like that?
Colton
Easton's dick
subterfuge or something? I don't remember. I just remember Jeff Saturday
that's
coming in off of his ESPN analyst job, having never coached.
But it's not looking good so far, man.
I mean, the only thing that's really kind of there's a few things that are fascinating here. Anthony Richardson. I can tell you from having seen this man with my own eyes play college football, he's a terrible quarterback. At the actual the things that would qualify as these are part of your job description.
Yeah.
I mean, he had an under 50% pass completion percentage in college. He only played 12 or 13 games. He started out as a gadget player. more or less. He's just not. He's not very good at throwing the football. That being said, his traits are off the charts. He's what, 6'7", 200 something pounds. He's a huge giant man, and will probably get them out of trouble running the football from time to time.
Okay.
But I don't see that adding up to wins. I see him being a great fantasy quarterback,
Right.
but not a very good actual.
Is that why you took him,
quarterback.
stole him from us?
I'm just putting him on my bench. He's my backup, bitch.
Then we got the Houston Texans, who I think they shouldn't worry, and they should just watch this year with like looking down the line more so than hoping for, just be happy. It feels like you got your coach, and
Right.
it feels like you got your quarterback, and just enjoy the season and maybe watch a little more red zone if it gets too bad.
My only warning for the Texans would be I do think C.J. Stroud will develop into a good NFL quarterback, but even though you're going to be a bad football team this year, you got to protect this kid. You got to protect him. You got to protect him because he, unlike Richardson, is an actual quarterback, and you just can't break him in year one.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, the Bengals nearly killed Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Who's the other Carr who actually used to play for Houston? David Carr.
David Carr, yeah.
I mean, he basically was run out of the league in 4 or 5 years because they couldn't
that's
protect
true.
him either. So, yeah, protect this man. That's all I have to say about them.
Then we got the AFC North. That's all I have to say about that. Then we got the AFC North, which is the division that is the thorn in our fucking sides when it comes to our division bets. We haven't guessed it right yet, and I don't think we'll guess it right this year.
And I
either.
still think this is the hardest one to pick
Yeah.
right now.
Any team there's an argument for each one of these teams to win the division.
Agreed.
And there's also an argument for each one of these teams to basement. Maybe not the Bengals, to be in the basement.
Do you think this division will send 3 teams to the playoffs?
Nah. AFC's too loaded.
It's so hard, isn't it?
Yeah, AFC's too loaded. You're not sending 3. I don't think any. I don't know. I think because they're all beating each other up in the good divisions. I think the West could send 1 or 2. AFC West. The East could send 1 or 2. The South's only sending 1, and the North is probably sending. They'll probably beat the hell out of each other. I don't know. But yeah, we could start with the Bengals. Wack Taylor. Might I don't know. He might have to earn his keep if Burrow isn't 100%. So we'll see. They still have one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. Great defense, young defense,
Big
and
Lou.
their roster is ready, man. It's just like the big thing is escaping them, and their window might be closing. So they got to make a move.
I feel like it's now or never for the Cincinnati Bengals. Burrow famously said last year that the Super Bowl window is open as long as he's playing. It's cool
I love that.
I think it's cool that he said that. I don't actually think it's true though. He's going to have to get his big contract extension. Jamar Chase is going to have to get his big extension, which essentially means that they're not going to be able to keep T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. They might only be able to keep one of them, or they might lose both of them, which would be significant. They have lost some significant players on defense this year, which, could be problematic. And the other thing that worries me about them a little bit is that they have never really been that great at running the ball. They are actually what I would feel would be a pretty good candidate for like a Kareem Hunt, right? 1-2, Mixon and Hunt, boom, boom. Kind of like the way that the Browns used to use Chubb and Hunt. I like that. I think the window is open right now. I feel like it's getting ready to shut, but I feel like they're missing 1 or 2 pieces to make it happen.
Yeah. The Ravens, how do you feel about them?
This might be the team that I'm most excited to see this year.
Oh, because your boy Monken?
It's partly because my guy, Todd Monken, former Bulldog offensive coordinator, is now with the Ravens. It's also partly because I've always had this thing for Lamar Jackson. I really, really like him.
Same. From South Florida.
And I really want him to. I think you know what made me really like him. It was when it was after. Was it after the MVP season? Where, because initially when he came into the league, a lot of people criticized him and said he's not a real quarterback. He's just a running back who throws the football.
Yeah.
And then he won the MVP, and his first comments in the press conference was like, "Not too bad for a running back, huh?" And I was like,
He remembers that
this
shit.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I actually
love
bought a T-shirt for Isak like maybe 5 years ago. That was this cool T-shirt with Lamar Jackson on it, and it says "Not bad for a running back" on it.
I like it.
So I've always really liked him, and I want him to succeed. And I feel like the Ravens now finally has receivers to throw the ball to.
And the offensive, like a pass-oriented offense.
Yeah, because they've always been good at running the ball. They've always had a good defense, right? They still got Roquan Smith, which is like, I mean, this team, there's a legitimate argument to make that the Baltimore Ravens could win this division.
Damn. It's tough, man. You could do it every team.
Their secondary still kind of sucks. It's always been their weakness.
Yeah, man.
It'd be kind of interesting to see if they can fix that this year.
They say if the hands are up at the end of the play, somebody fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's been too many times when the Ravens defenders secondary hands are up, like, man, who's guys at? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you got the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, you do.
We haven't seen Deshaun Watson play like Deshaun Watson of old. So that's the only thing that's got the jury out, but they've got a good team. Their roster is good.
Right. The predominant narrative around the Cleveland Browns right now is that they are a fantastic football team on paper. Everyone is assuming that Deshaun Watson is like some sort of a elastic rubber band that will eventually return back to his original form. I'm not convinced that that's going to happen.
We haven't seen him like we've seen him do amazing things.
Right.
When a play breaks down.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not a capable passer. We've seen him look good, like MVP type of stuff, but it's always, most of the time, at least the stuff we see on the highlights is him like resetting in the pocket or like moving out of the pocket and doing some crazy shit, and then or maybe some crazy run away. But I don't know. He's gonna need to do something different in Cleveland.
That's why I think it cannot be forgotten that when we before all of the some 60 massage therapist story came along, when we used to think of Deshaun Watson as a top 5 quarterback, he played for a 4-win football team.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that this man is as good as everyone thinks he should be. And I think if he does not play well this year, the whole Cleveland Browns situation is going to just cave in on itself.
Yeah. It's going to be like what happened in Hackett. They put all their eggs in the Russell Wilson basket. And then next thing you know, the coach is out of there.
As long as my man Nick Chubb gets 1,000 yards, I don't care.
He probably will.
Just while the house is on fire, Nick Chubb is just running the rock all over the place.
We'll see, man. But they could end up, it is where he's a great quarterback, and then they'll win 12, 13 games.
Sure. That's also possible.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Still no losing season for Mike Tomlin somehow. We thought it was going to happen last year, and then nope. This dude is resilient, and it was without T.J. Watt.
Correct.
For most of the season.
He missed 7 games last year, it says.
It was remember that it was just a pectoral thing? It was just like, oh no, you could see when he was, but he'll be back. Kenny Pickett looked great at the end of the year. He was up there.
I would say Kenny Pickett, if there were an award for like preseason hype, Kenny Pickett wins it. Like this year in the preseason, like so many people are raving about the improvement of Kenny Pickett, and I'm not the only one out here grapefruiting former Bulldogs. Everyone's falling in love with George Pickens right now with all those crazy catches and stuff.
Yep.
This might be my second. Like I said, the Ravens were the team I was most interested to see what they're going to look like. This is a close second. I'm fascinated to see what Tomlin is going to do. I just have so much respect for him as a coach.
Yeah, same. I loved it when he said, I watched that interview with him on the Pivot, and they were talking to him about everything, and I was watching because I wanted to hear what he had to say about Brian Flores. But the whole interview was fantastic. And one of the things he said was, if you don't get excited about a player that needs help, like that needs some coaching up, then you're not worth your salt as a coach.
Right.
It's like, I get excited when somebody has deficiencies.
Yeah.
Because I could make that guy reach his maximum capability that he didn't know he could reach. And that gets me excited. I don't want the perfect player, whatever. He's good. Yeah, we got it. He's got it. I want that guy who's marginal. It's like, whoa.
I love this guy.
Love him. Love him.
Another interesting thing to watch out for with the Steelers, there's this rumor out there that their RB2, Jalen Warren, people are starting to say that he could be this year's Tony Pollard.
Oof.
In that, remember when we all used to think that Tony Pollard was better than Zeke?
Yeah.
And we were wondering why they don't give him the ball more?
Yeah.
And it turns out that we were all right.
Yes.
They're saying that this guy might actually be better than Najee Harris.
Oof. And Najee Harris is good. I don't know,
we'll
man.
see.
Watch out for the Steelers, man. It's like, ugh.
For sure.
My money might be on those guys. What a division.
I don't even know where to begin. Like, how are we going to predict that in the next episode? I have no idea. I'm still lost.
Then we got the AFC West. First things first, we got to talk about defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs.
Do we just pick them and go home? Just, okay, good night, everyone.
Yep. I feel like they're going to run away with this division, man.
Feels like it.
I'm not that excited about anybody else. You still got the best player in the NFL on the team. You still got one of the best coaches of all time leading the way. They lost Eric Bieniemy. Not much has been said about that.
Sure.
And I don't know who took his place. So everybody's just kind of leaning on the fact that it's Andy Reid. And I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. And then also the receivers. They're treating the receivers like how San Francisco does quarterbacks.
So that's actually the only part that makes me a little concerned, right? So you have a situation where you have obviously the most valuable player, not just for the Kansas City Chiefs, but for the entire league. He's literally the face of the National Football League, Patrick Mahomes, right? So I think when you're in a situation like that, people tend to overlook the deficiencies on the rest of the team.
Yep.
Right. And then they'll take it one step further. They'll say, well, as long as they have Mahomes, they're going to be fine. As long as they have Mahomes and Kelsey, they'll be fine. Oh shit. Kelsey has a knee injury. What now? Right. They've never really been super great at running the ball. The idea that it shouldn't matter that you don't have top level receivers, the fact that they were able to get away with that last year doesn't make sense for the most part.
Yeah.
It's either like great coaching, and it's also could be the case that Mahomes really is that great. I mean, Brady.
I think that's
we thought the same thing about Brady, right?
Yep.
Brady and that Patriots team, the way they would recycle
Troy Brown.
Outside of some of the big names that they had, they would recycle all these weird receivers that you never heard of.
Yep.
And they kept winning Super Bowls. So
Troy Brown has a Super Bowl MVP. That's crazy.
That is a little
He
crazy.
had like 13 catches or some crazy shit.
So clearly the Chiefs can still do it, and I am of the opinion that they are, at the very least, going to win this division again until they prove me otherwise. I just don't see any other team in this division capable of doing that.
Matt Nagy is back on the roster.
Right.
I'm not roster, but he's
he
back
was
on
the
team.
quarterback coach last year for the Chiefs, and now he's the offensive coordinator.
Right, and he was their offensive coordinator in 2016 and 17, so he's very familiar with the offense.
Right.
It might, but that was with Alex Smith, so it might be same old same, man. I didn't know he was that familiar with them. So that's something we can look forward to, some success. A smart of Reed to kind of keep it like that. Then you got the Chargers. Big question mark. I don't know, man.
Big.
Herbert's one of the future stars of the league, shining star. They got these big ass receivers that one of them's injured every other week, and they have a good defense. They have good personnel on defense, and they have a defensive minded coach. But it's like they can't ever put it together. And I personally think Brandon Staley should have been fired last year, and he's back, and that doesn't feel good because there's got to be players in the locker room that feel the same way.
Yeah, and I made it clearly known that I think that he has one of the hottest seats in the league this year.
Yeah.
But one of the other things that he has as well is he has a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. who was
yeah.
formerly with the Dallas
best ever.
Cowboys.
Oh.
He's pretty good. He's definitely gonna create a more vertical offensive threat, I think.
Oh, it says here he's their future interim head coach. Wow.
Exactly. And I think that I think the Chargers are going to fucking grip it and rip it. They're going to be a fun football team to watch this year. They're going to, whether that amounts to double-digit wins is literally a coin toss, because the Chargers are one of those teams, the Chargers are going to Charger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know what the fuck they're going to do until they can prove that they are a consistent team that can implement a game plan week after week. I've never seen them do that since the Dan Fouts era. So yeah, I need to see that.
The Broncos, what we got? I believe in Sean Payton, of course.
I believe it's a mystery.
But yes.
It's a great football mystery.
Is Russell Wilson broken? That's what we're gonna find out this year. I just can't imagine Sean Payton not getting the best out of Russell Wilson. But I also can't imagine Sean Payton sticking with a broken Russell Wilson all year.
That's a good point, actually. My feeling is that I
I didn't bring this fucker here.
They can't get worse.
Right.
How many games did they win last year? 4?
I want to say 4, yeah.
4. So they can't get worse, right? The bar is pretty low. So, but they've had a lot of injury problems from last year and that have carried on into this year. Jerry Jeudy is hurt. I think they've had some running backs get hurt.
They won 5 games last year. Sorry.
They won 5 games last year.
Sorry, Broncos fans.
I have more faith in Russell Wilson returning to form as a functioning quarterback than I do of Deshaun Watson returning.
Oh, wow.
To form. I know we've gone past that, but I would say if I had to, I'm just thinking of 2 guys who have high expectations this year. I have more faith in Russell Wilson to do that than I do Deshaun Watson. Because I think Russell Wilson, I guess in part, I think both guys probably care about their reputation and their legacy, but one of them actually has a chance to repair his legacy, whereas the other one, in my opinion, is irredeemable.
Yeah. People gonna bring that shit up forever. But with the Wilson, Sean Payton kind of put him in his place, so I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Because he had his own trainers and he had his own different...
He had his own office.
He had staff and shit. And he's like, no, man, that's not happening. I'm in charge here. And he scaled it back or pulled it back, got the reins back after what he himself described as the worst situation he's seen. And I feel like Russell Wilson knowing that this shit could be over might be just what he needs.
I think so too. I think Sean Payton is probably going to be a very good influence on him.
And if it is over, if he's not just up to it, then he's out. And who they bring in? Stidham?
Yeah.
Who they bring as backup?
Isn't that? Yeah.
I want to say Jerry or Stidham might be in the Raiders.
I think he might be right. Here's a current quote that I found this morning from Sean Payton. Sean Payton was responding to Russell Wilson caring too much about his public image. And he said, quote, "Will you fucking stop kissing all the babies? You're not running for public office."
Who did he say that to?
He said it to Russell Wilson.
Wow. How did Wilson respond?
I don't know, actually.
That's great.
But
that's good, man.
He's like, fucking block out all the noise and play quarterback.
Yes, that's all I need. That's all we need.
And I agree with you. I believe that Sean Payton can be that mentor for Russell Wilson.
Ken Stefanski.
No.
That's what I'm saying. There's the difference, man. Then you got the Raiders and Genius head coach.
The inglorious bastard himself.
Josh McDaniels, who's got Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know, man. I feel like this might be more of a drop-off. He went to the principal's office 3 times last year. I think that's 2 hot seats in the same division, man.
And he also has probably what is arguably one of the most handsome quarterbacks in the entire National Football League.
History.
living in Las Vegas, where the various brothels that exist
just outside, yeah.
of the city limits have all publicly issued like free services to Jimmy Garoppolo for as long as he's a Raider. Like there's photographs of these women who work at the brothels holding up signs saying, "Welcome to Las Vegas, Jimmy."
He's been there.
And it's like, whoo, this man, he's very handsome in a dark suit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, that's shit. Is that it for the AFC?
Yeah. Yeah, that is it, my friend.
Damn.
That is it.
Wow. We'll talk about predictions and all of that soon. But I'm feeling like the strongest division, AFC wise, is the AFC North, followed a close second by the AFC East.
Yeah.
If I were to predict the most wins, I'd say AFC East might have the most wins out of all the divisions. AFC North, they might beat the shit out of each other.
That's true.
But we'll see, man. I feel like the AFC East is strong and they're right up there. AFC West is the easiest to call, I think, unless something happens to Mahomes. So, interested, man. I'm ready, man. Football's in a few days.
I'm so excited.
Shit, football is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Chiefs, we'll see if Kelsey plays. Who the Chiefs playing?
Lions.
First game, Chiefs-Lions.
Chiefs-Lions.
I get to wake up to some football. I love it,
It's
man.
hot.
Well, we'll be back soon. Y'all stay tuned for our predictions. And we're going to be flipping and picking and all that stuff, man.
That's right.
So, and we'll be back with these two episodes per week. It's going to be fun, man. SveNFL's back. That means the NFL is back. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Well, holla at y'all later. Thank y'all for checking out this episode of SveNFL. It has been Jonathan Rollins
And Skip Musara.
with SveNFL. We'll holla at y'all later. Peace.
Later, y'all.